back to another episode of Tales of the Trip. I wanted to go over what radio servicing is. I had gotten a few emails and some texts and messages from the previous episode where folks were asking me, hey Dom, what is radio servicing? What is that exactly? So radio servicing is when the record label, or in our case, an independent artist, hires a company to basically hustle your song. So we partnered with HMG Nashville, which was a reputable company, and we were able to work with a woman named Vivian. I cannot remember Vivian's last name at all. But anyway, she was important in signing a band called Sixpence None the Richer that had a big hit song at the time, and so she had a lot of weight behind her name. She worked at Higgins Music Group, and so we hired them to do the radio servicing for our first single, which is called All I've Ever Wanted. So Vivian and her group, her team, would reach out to different radio stations all over the country and say, hey, listen, we have an artist that we think will fit your format, and we'd like for you to listen to the music and play the artist's songs. And so they were able to do that for us. And most Christian music that you listen to today, and even back then, it's something called CHR, Christian Hit Radio. Christian Hit Radio is non-offensive pop music. So you're not going to hear a Striper. You're not going to hear any of Petra's harder stuff. You're not really going to hear anything that's very hard rock and roll on there. You're going to hear stuff that they want everyone to be able to listen to. They want mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and the pastor and, the church directors and deacons and everyone to be able to listen to the station, donate to the station so it stays on the air, and not be offended by the music that they're playing, right? So it isn't that the lyric content is offensive, but, some folks, they don't like heavy guitars and big drums. And, we pray for those people that they meet Jesus, have an encounter with Christ, right? Just kidding. But we should, though. But anyway, so we partner with Higgins Music Group, and they're reaching out to all of their contacts and all of these radio stations all over the United States, saying, hey, we have this artist, First or Last. They have this song, All I've Ever Wanted. We would like for you guys to play it. And they would send us every month a report. On this report would be all the radio stations all over the country that they reached out to and the feedback that they were getting from these radio stations. Some radio stations listened to 10 seconds, not interested. Others would listen to it and say, but the majority of the radio stations that heard the song were like, hey, this is pretty good. Who are these guys? And that then began to open a bunch of doors for us, because then these radio stations began to contact us and say, hey, listen, so we have a bigger artist coming. Would you guys be interested in opening the show? Would you guys be interested in doing a radio interview with us? And the answer is always yes. And that eventually opened the doors for us to be in CCM Magazine 3 years in a row. We were one of the top indie bands in the country. We got to do some shows with all the heavyweights. We also had a hit song, thanks to HMG. And the next episode, I'll speak to you guys about that. But all radio servicing is the radio label or the artist, and I don't know about now how it's done, but hires a company that has contacts and some sort of influence in the industry, and they reach out to all the radio stations. And once your song becomes popular, you have a song that's becoming a hit song, then you do what's always worked ever since the days of Elvis Presley and Little Richard, right? You go out there and you follow the spins. So if there's a radio station in Cincinnati, Ohio that's playing your music and it's on heavy rotation, we would send an email out to the station director, introduce ourselves. Here's the website. Can we schedule a phone interview? Hey, we noticed you're bringing so-and-so to do a big show in 2 months or 3 months. What do we have to do to be considered to be an opening act or to be support from the radio station on that show? And a lot of these shows for the radio stations, we would play almost for free because of the exposure, right? So a lot of times there'd be a host church. The host church would put us up and feed us and give us a place to sleep or what have you. But a lot of times it was on our dime initially. We'd have to pay the tolls, the gas, the U-Haul, get all the guys in my Explorer and drive all across the country. So I just wanted to explain to you what radio servicing is. All it is when you hire a company to take your song, promote it to different radio stations all over the country, in hopes that they begin to play the music, and then that will begin to grow the brand and the band and the ministry. Next episode, I'm going to speak to you a little bit about what happened after we had All I Ever Wanted in heavy rotation in about 30, 40 states, which is very interesting. So the song was being played every 3 minutes somewhere in these 37 states, which is very weird. And I'll speak to you guys about how we recorded that song. That song was supposed to be a throwaway song. So the song that everyone was listening to that helped grow the band was the first take we did of the song. God bless you guys.